And that was fantastic that you were a sponsor of that type of experience for the kids. So I know that Julie appreciates it, and I know just from me being involved in a lot of kid inventor initiatives, that is something absolutely fantastic, and I'd love to bring that to the United States however possible, as soon as possible. It's fantastic. So, Ben, you really gave us a good amount to sink our teeth in to really inspire us to focus on the toy and game industry and coming up with some new innovative ideas and toys and games and so forth. What are some final tips that you can provide to the inventors that, you know, maybe they have this idea and they really haven't done anything with it, or they're at a point where, you know, they're trying to find somebody to make that board and the pieces of the board game that they're looking for, or to just design that doll, or maybe they're selling it right now and they're trying to bring it up to a point where they're trying to manufacture it themselves, or they brought it to a point where they're saying, I can't afford manufacturing, so let me see if I can license it to somebody like Spin Master. What are some final tips and words of wisdom that you can give us, no matter what stage of the invention process we're at?
Well, yeah, I'd separate that into two questions. Say if someone already has something that they have developed, then I would say make an effort to reach a toy company and just try and establish a relationship. And that really depends on, I hate to say it, but how much, again, you've invested and how good the product is. If someone calls me and says, you know, I have an idea for a beach toy, I have a drawing, it's probably not, you know, I'm probably not going to say, yes, come in right away and present that to us, versus if someone comes in and says, I'm a former aeronautics engineer, I've developed, you know, an RC flying toy, I have 3 working prototypes, yada, 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 I'm going to be very impressed by that. I'm going to want to see this person as soon as possible. More importantly, I think it's, you know, what I like to talk about is for people out there who want to get into the world of toy invention. Maybe you do have an idea. If you have a million ideas, maybe you're a professional inventor who's just looking for, you know, new revenue streams and new relationships. The toy invention world, like, it's hard. It's hard like anything else. It's hard, you know, any of these jobs in the world, whether you want to be a, you know, a screenwriter or a songwriter, these are just hard jobs. But the toy industry it's great. It's first of all, it's ethical. It's on. Like, I know in the music industry, in the film industry, and these other businesses that deal with creative people and intellectual property, it's quite cutthroat. The toy industry is actually really nice, and we try and maintain that. And like I said, there's pre-established, you know, business terms. There's a general set of ethical principles dealing with people. It really is a nice business to work in. Now, it is extremely tough to license stuff, but if you have something great, it's you know, an inventor can be king in the toy industry. And I would say that's the most important thing, is getting to something that's great. So the most advice, the biggest piece of advice I would give is learn the industry. Because, like I said, the first part is having magic, but just as important is all these unfortunate constraints that dealing with being a mass market company. So right away, it's very important that you know, what do all the toy companies do? Mm-hmm. You know, what categories does a toy company work in? In those categories, what are existing price points? You know, if you have a fashion doll that costs $40, odds are it's not going to sell. Like, look, rules are meant to be broken, and maybe there's something awesome that's going to come out that you know, changes things. But typically speaking, fashion dolls are $15, $20 each. In the activity section, let's say you have the next Play-Doh, and it's like Play-Doh, but it's new and it's cool, and you've never touched anything like it. It's great, but if it costs $20 a can, it's just not going to fly. So there's no point, you know, really investing time, energy, in developing this stuff if you don't have some, you know, framework of how the business operates. And that's what I'd say, is learn the business. And the best way to do that is really just go to toy stores, walk the toy stores, look at the different toys, look at how things are organized, look at how things are broken into categories, look about how different prices work, look at the different size of things, you know, how big are boxes, you know, how complex are things. Very important. Secondly, I think having a certain insight into how your invention actually translates into a manufacturable product is really good. And I appreciate that not every inventor can go tour a factory in China, and that's not going to happen. But it does, you know, you can learn a lot just by comparing things. You know, if you see a doll on the market that has one motor in it, you get a sense of what a one-motor doll looks like. And if your doll has considerably more components than that, you can guesstimate that it's going to cost more money. So it's very good to learn, you know, have some sensibility about the cost and manufacturability of products just by looking at them in comparison to other things that have been done. And the more you do that, the greater I think your chances are of hitting something that's not only magic and not only super exciting, but can also live and breathe within the constraints of an existing industry.
It's very interesting. And just from the point of presenting to you, do we show up at your door? Do we send you an email? Do we make a phone call to you? Do we send Julie to go see you? What do we do?
Please don't show up at my door. The one thing I ask most. I would say when it comes to us is we do have we have a bit of an online screening process. I shouldn't even call it a screening process, but we have an online submission process, which allows people to send a form in with their idea, which gives a general outline of what they're looking to present, and that enables us to screen and to check out, see if things are even in our category. Because as much as we'd love to meet with everyone with an idea out there, unfortunately, just don't have enough people to do it. So it's definitely an imperfect tool, but we try our best to use it effectively. If we aren't able, if we don't feel that we're able to meet with you, then we'll certainly refer you over to an agent. And I would not hesitate to get in touch with these agents because truthfully, they're a tremendous value. And I totally get it. They're going to take a huge chunk of your royalty, and people are like, screw that, I don't want to use a person who's just going to take my money. But a couple things. One is selling your products is the most important thing. You can have the greatest product in the world. If it doesn't sell, it doesn't matter if you get 100% of nothing. And I've seen numerous cases where reps have really made the difference. Secondly, the toy invention business is not about one invention. It really isn't. It's about a constant flow of ideas. So constantly developing stuff. It's about constantly having things come out, and it's a numbers game. Very few people are able to hit it on their first go, and I wouldn't be horribly discouraged if you didn't license your first product. A rep is a great way to get your feet wet. To establish a relationship, to establish a bit of a history, a bit of a reputation for your products. It'll make it that much easier. That said, if you think you have something that's going to knock our socks off, by all means, send me an email and persuade me of it. And if it sounds that way, I'd love nothing more to meet with you. And I can think of numerous times where people have called me. Like I said before, that example, somebody calls up and says, I was an aeronautics engineer. I developed this prototype. It uses this battery, this component, this motor. I look at that and I go, man, this dude's serious. I'm into this.
Sounds
if
good.
Someone calls, and says, I'm a mother of 3 kids in Idaho, and I developed a beach toy that my kids really love. It really depends on what I think of, but oftentimes if it's not in a category that we're already, really in, like let's say beach toys or preschool toys, it's a little bit harder. I'm typically looking, I hate to say it, we're very open. And like I said, we'll try our best to see everyone, but really, ideally, I'm looking for people who take it seriously. This is a serious business, and people who are really excited to invest their time, energy, and efforts into making something cool.
Thank you very much, Ben. And we could go to spinmaster.com and look on there. I believe that there's something there for submitting your idea. Is that right?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Super. Okay, Julie, tell us about some upcoming events that are happening in the toy and game industry, and especially for young inventors.
Yeah, so there are some fun events coming up, and actually what inspired me to put together this camp was primarily finding out about a contest that's called Young Inventor Challenge, and it takes place every November at ShyTag Toy and Game Fair in Chicago. And it's a really cool contest where kids can enter in their own original toy or game idea, and kids compete in a junior and senior category to present their original ideas. And then basically toy or game companies come in, look at the ideas, and the winners get their game or toy actually professionally developed and manufactured, which is really exciting. So I saw this contest, and I really thought that kids around the world should know about it and have the opportunity to think about toys and games. And as Ben already touched upon, kids don't really have the same filters as adults where they don't realize what is and is not possible, and they're just thinking about their creative ideas. And so that was really what inspired me to start the camp in the first place.
Okay, so we have the Young Inventors Challenge, which you can go to younginventorschallenge.com, and you can enter for that type of event. Then there's also the event that I had an opportunity to interview 40 unbelievable kids that had inventions that they came up with and presented at the Chicago Toy and Game Fair, which is when, Julie, this year? It's in November, right?
Yeah, so it's at the end of November, and the Young Inventor Challenge is on November 23rd.
Okay, so that's at the Chicago Toy and Game Fair.
It is, yeah.
Okay, great. And then I know that the Discovery Games, there's something there as well?
So discovergames.com is a website that was started by Mary Cousin, who founded Chicago Toy and Game Fair. And she's a real powerhouse in the toy and game industry. She founded that fair. She was one of the founding members of Young Inventor Challenge, discovergames.com. And there's a lot of exciting stuff happening basically in Chicago in November.
That sounds great. My daughter, she's 11. Her name is Alana. She is gearing up, ready to go. She's making me buy all these little pieces and parts to help her put together, and she's looking forward to entering the competition there. So she's
very exciting.
And I know she's in the other room listening because she has HedBandz, Ben, and she loves the game, and she knows all the other games that you have better than probably you and I. Well, not better than
me.
Better than me, that's for sure. But that's fantastic. Any final points, any other notes or anything that either of you want to just get out there to the listeners one last time?
I'd just say, if you're in the invention world, certainly the toy industry is a great place to be. We're always looking for new stuff. We're always excited for new products, and always looking for new inventors. So get into your workshops and come up with something great. We're looking for the next biggie.
Thank you very much. And Julie, any final words?
I would just like to say that if you're a young inventor out there, I can't think of anyone who knows better than kids what's fun to play with. So I encourage any young inventors out there to explore their ideas and get creative with their toy and game ideas.
Fantastic. Julie, do you have a website or an email address as well to present to the listeners?
Well, kids who are interested can go to younginventorchallenge.com, and there's all kinds of information there about how to enter, and there's an email address there as well. Okay, super. All right, thank you very much. That was Benjamin Dermer. He is the VP of Inventor Relations at Spin Master, and Julie Blake, the event planner and very active in the Young Inventors community, just doing that Toy and Game Inventor Camp and helping to put this interview together tonight with both of them. Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank our sponsors. We have Distribution Direct. We have QuickPatents.com. We have Patent Pride. If you're looking to have a plaque of your patent that just got issued, you can go there. Carter, DeLuca, Farrell, and Schmidt, thank you for your support. And, of course, Inventors Digest. Thank you very much for your support. If you're not a reader of the magazine, whether it's online or the print, just go to inventorsdigest.com and sign up for your subscription as well. All right. Thank you very much. Again, I'm your host, Brian Freed. Have a great night from Got Invention Radio, and keep on inventing, especially in the toy and game industry, and reach out to Ben when you're ready. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great night from Got Invention Radio.